Well, howdy there, folks, and welcome into today's video. Hope you guys are doing great out there as always. Today, I'm going to tell you guys a bit about my $1 million plus dilemma I have in the stock market right now. And I'm going to share with you a bunch of stocks that I would potentially buy with some money right now. And I kind of talk you guys through this. It's a little bit of a learning video, I would call it, along with we're going to talk about some individual stocks in this video as well. So a little combo of learning with some stocks in there. So I hope you guys enjoy this as always. If you don't mind, smash a thumbs up. That's literally all I ask for, okay? Now, let's spend a moment talking about the $1 million plus dilemma, and then we'll get into some specific stocks that I'm interested in, okay? So in terms of this dilemma, let me make a big screen here, okay? In terms of this dilemma, let's call it that, when I'm thinking about deploying money in the market, okay, I've got to think about what's going on in the market. I got to think about trying to stay focused on what individual stocks I'm interested in at a particular time. I got to think about what is going on in my personal financial life, right? Outside of just stock market. I've got to think about how invested I am into the market, and I've got to think about cash levels, okay? I've got to think about cash levels and how invested do I want to be in the market, okay? So you guys know, I always talk about, I try to stay 10% to 30% cash, okay? And I try never to go over 30% because then I get underinvested and I feel like I'm not working hard enough and I should find some deals somewhere. And I try not to get under 10% because essentially I end up in a situation where it's never fun to have no money around, right? And then stocks drop, or a bunch of stocks you like drop, right? And you have no money to buy. That's a really, really bad position to be in, right? You never want to be in that position. So when I'm thinking about deploying a bunch more money in this market right now in a ton of stocks, there are some really good deals I see. And we're going to go over some of those deals in this video, okay? Where we kind of run into issues is I have deployed an immense amount of money into the market over the past couple months, okay? An immense amount of money. I would say it almost kind of started in December with Walgreens. I plowed $1 million plus into Walgreens in December, okay? January, not too crazy, but then I've deployed a lot of money in the market recently. You guys know that, right? Into some very specific stocks. It's not like I'm just buying index funds. Anybody that follows my content, you know I've been buying individual stocks and picking up some stocks that I feel like are really good deals, right? However, like eventually you're going to run through cash, okay? So I was in a position where I was building a lot of cash. I didn't see many good deals. Then there's a certain few stocks out there that I think are tremendous opportunities in the market for myself. And I've went ahead and pounced on those and I've invested heavily in them. So if I go and I buy another, let's say $1 million worth of stocks, I'm going to be well under my 10% threshold for cash. Now, the way I think about that is it's like, okay, I could go under that 10%. Let's say I get down to 3% cash, okay? Well, if stocks go no lower than there, then I'm looking great, right? I'm looking really, really good. However, there's always other potential stocks out there, right? What if, I don't know, Palantir's a stock I might be potentially interested in. What if Palantir has bad earnings, some bad news comes out around them? What if Palantir falls to $15 or something like that? And I don't have really any cash around. That would be unfortunate, right? What if some stocks I love in the market fall tremendously and I have no cash around or very limited cash around? I'm in a really, really bad financial position, right? And so I kind of got to think about this like, okay, I'm heavily invested in the market right now. I've got to keep some cash around. I've been deploying heavy in the market. Now I feel like I've got to build cash up a bit here and there, okay? And so, and also when I think about my personal financial life, right? I think about, I have a new company I'm getting up and running right now, and that's losing me obviously a lot of money in the short term because it's not making any money, and it probably won't make me any money for a long time, maybe even potentially years. It could just burn through cash, and that's fine. We're getting that up and rolling, So I think about that. That's a cash burn. And there's a lot of other things, okay, that's going on. So I just kind of think about all that, and I'm like, to go ahead and spend another 7 figures on stocks right now, it would be beautiful if I get everything at the bottom and we just go up from here and all the specific stocks I'm in go up from here. But what if that doesn't happen? So that's where we come in, and that's kind of this whole dilemma situation. And I know some of you guys face this situation from time to time when you're looking around and you're like, you see a stock that's a deal, and you see another stock that's a deal, and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to buy these stocks, but I have no money to take advantage of the deals. And you never really want to be in that position. That's a bad position to be in. What if I don't know, what if TTCF falls to $12 tomorrow or $14 and I'm already heavily invested, or I'm already all in the stock, let's say? That would hurt me, man. That would hurt me if TTCF falls to 12 or 14 and I got no money around to buy, right? So, and then you get into a subject like margin, and do you margin out money to go ahead and invest a bunch more money? But keep in mind, if the market continues to go lower, you get too heavy on margin, you could face margin calls. And if you don't have any cash around to go ahead, and then that gets to be a really ugly situation as well, okay? So that's kind of how I'm thinking about this market right now. I'm kind of in a position where I'm like, I don't mind putting a little more money in some of these stocks here and there, but now, because I've invested so heavily, I've got to focus a little more on building cash rather than just deploying cash at this point in time, okay? And you're going to go through some of these phases sometimes when you build up, some of these times when you're deploying out, okay? So that's the $1 million plus dilemma there, okay? Now let's get into some stocks. Let's say I'm going to go buy some stocks, okay? What's some stocks that I'm personally very interested in at current prices? And what do I think about some of these stocks? So let's get into this a bit here, okay? So as always, we got to do this little thingy here. Yeah, lawyers are expensive. If you want to join Stock Hub, check it out. It's the pinned comment down there. It's absolutely free to join in there. If you're looking to apply for my private stock group, might have that as a pinned comment as well down there, okay? So obviously, I'll just put this one first. I mean, this is still one that very much interests me, right? It went up today another 2% roughly, and it's up after hours as well. We'll see where it trades at tomorrow. Maybe it's back in the 18s. It was interesting. This stock fell all the way to the 15s, and I deployed a lot of money in this stock. This is one of the reasons I have this dilemma of like, oh man, should I go under 10% cash? Because right now I'm above 10%, but should I go under? This is why we're kind of in this dilemma, because on Tuesday, I think I bought 5,000 shares of the stock, okay? You can do the math on that, 5,000 times 15 something dollars a share. And then on top of that, if I recall on Tuesday, I bought a bunch of call options in the stock, okay? So yeah, I put a lot of money, and I had been putting money in the stock as it fell from, 18, 19 range to 17, 16. I kept buying. And now I have a significant position in the stock. But it's very interesting because you look at a stock chart of this, and literally ever since 420, it has just been pretty much up, and up. I don't know what happened there, okay? Now, from my understanding, there's short seller attacks. There's a lot of misinformation being put out there around this stock. A lot of trying to scare people out of this stock any way possible. There's a lot of manipulation, and unfortunately, the powers to be don't really look into these things, and it's unfortunate because short sellers want to manipulate as much as possible when it comes to any stocks. I've seen it. I've been doing this for 12, 13 years now. I've seen it time and time again. They will go to message boards. They will do anything. They will have bot activity. They will do whatever it takes to try to accelerate sell-offs in stocks. I witnessed it in Cirrus Logic back in the day. I witnessed it in Tesla stock. I witnessed it in just countless stocks out there. They will do misinformation campaigns. They'll do whatever it takes to try to get a stock to go down in the short term and try to compound that selling and get the machines to sell, and get the humans to sell. And so it all just kind of feeds each other, right? And with a stock like this, that's a smaller company, a lot of the short sellers look at it as potentially easier in something like this, or just stocks that are around this in general, right? Now, where things can get really shaky for short sellers, and there's many flawed reasons for being a short seller, but one of them is you want to play, say you're a short seller, you want to play games with these stocks, you want to try to manipulate it down however they do it, okay, you got to realize with these type of market caps, these under $10 billion type market caps, man, the rips on the other side can be unreal. I mean, I saw Casper Sleep today, right? Casper Sleep was up, 30% in a day? Just boom. smaller market cap, under $1 billion market cap, right? And so, short sellers can try to do whatever they want to do and try to send these stocks down, but man, it gets ugly. It gets really ugly, because at the end of the day, as a long stock goes down, let's say it goes back down to 15, I'll buy some more shares. Big deal, okay? As a long. Short selling, you're hoping to get this stock to 14 and cover your shares, and then it doesn't go to 14 and it rips to 18, and then, I think long term this is going to be a $100 plus stock, right? I mean, we'll see what happens long term. I think it's going to 100 plus long term. And if you're on the short side of that, geez, okay, get ready for the pain. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, man, it's interesting. It's interesting, 1548 it got down to. I think it got even lower than that technically on that Tuesday, but it was just ugly. And man, was I plowing money in that. And I'm still interested in the stock. At this point in time, I have as many shares as I could possibly want in this stock, as well as call options in this stock that I was able to pick up when it was like 15 something a share. And so I'm comfortable. If it falls a bunch more, I will nibble off more shares. There's no doubt about that. If this has anything in front of a 15, I'll nibble off some more shares, and I'll probably nibble off some more call options for 2023, okay? Some long out ones. So yeah, that's, that one was going to make the list, right? This one, you might think this is not interesting to me anymore. It's still actually interesting to me, the planet, okay? At the end of the day, I look at the planet, and somebody asked me about it on the live stream today, when it comes to this stock. It's $1 billion something market cap today, right? They've got, what is it? Oh, 9 figures of cash on the balance sheet. Basically non-existent debts, 9 figures of cash on the balance sheet. They just reported a day on 420 when they did over $500,000 in a day just from the Planet location. Okay, never mind, Medizin. Never mind when that Orange County store opens. This company could be in a position where they actually end up doing well over $200 million of revenue this year, which would shock everybody that follows this stock, other than maybe people that are super, super bullish, because, analysts have had numbers of 127 million, 147 million expectations for revenue. And if they came in with 200 mil something, which is actually a very realistic possibility, I mean, imagine where the stock's going. So this is one where, as somebody that started buying the stock at $1, you might think I'm not interested at all in the stock, but I've got to say, guys, I'm still interested in the stock. And so, yeah, I mean, I've bought some in the I think even $6 range. And at the end of the day, when I look at the stock, I'm still actually interested in potentially buying more, because long term, I think this has a potential to be $10 billion. So if I think it has a potential to be a $10 billion company in the future, right? Does it matter if I buy at 900 million or 1.2 billion or 1.1 billion? That's the thing. And that's sometimes what you got to ask yourself when it comes to these certain stocks that have huge opportunities in front of them, like, multi-generational type opportunities in front of them. Sometimes it's really hard to make those decisions and say, hey man, the stock's up huge, I'm up huge in this position, but it's still a deal. And that's where it's, sometimes you just gotta, somebody like myself just has to make that move and go ahead and say, hey, at the end of the day, this is still a stock that's a deal. And so, yeah, the Planet, actually still a stock that interests me after all those gains already, okay? And this is a top 5 holding. Somebody asked me, would I make it my biggest position? I don't think so. However, I'm not against it. Like, would I feel comfortable making the Planet my biggest position? I'm not against it. But I'm not, like, super for it. But I do think, like, 9 figures of cash on the balance sheet, a little over $1 billion market cap, basically non-existent debts, multiple stores in multiple states are going to have now, probably 1 or maybe even 2 locations coming for this company next year. That's just me speculating. It's not for sure, but I'm thinking at least 1 location, if not 2 locations next year for this company. Plus the brand distribution in California as they open that California store, because they can't even get their brands throughout California until you have the location there, right? And you're producing it there. So, I mean, you put all these factors together, and I mean, my gosh, there's so much to be excited with this particular stock. And when federal legalization comes, whenever that comes, whether it's in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is, well, these are all, a stock like the Planet's likely going to get uplisted to the New York Stock Exchange, right? Or the NASDAQ or wherever. And next thing you know, Wall Street's going to have 20, 30, 40 analysts covering the stock. And all of a sudden, a lot of investment funds that can't invest in the stock will have that ability to. I mean, yeah, that's why even though I started buying the stock at $1 and it's almost $7 today, that's why I'm still interested in this stock, because it is, frankly, if it goes where I think it's going over time, it's still a deal steal. We'll see, okay? So that's that one. Next one up here is Coinbase. So Coinbase is interesting. It fell to in the 200s recently. And, Coinbase is such an interesting stock for so many reasons. We're going to talk about Bitcoin price a bit. We're going to talk about volatility, because I think some people are misunderstanding how much money Coinbase can potentially make or not make, okay? And based upon if Bitcoin falls, Ethereum falls, and those sorts of things, okay? But when I look at Coinbase here, I see a company that is obviously like practically printing their own money with how much money this company's making right now, right? Their revenues, their profits, their user base is growing exponentially, okay? At some point, it's going to slow down, but when is that? No one asks when that is. And the fact is, if you look at this company's valuation right now, the fact is, Wall Street is pricing this stock like their best days are yesterday. And it goes downhill from here. Because if you run numbers on this company, on what their expected net income could be this year versus where the market cap's at, and with the growth in users, revenue, net income, any metric you pretty much want to look at, when you run all that, this stock is one of the biggest deals on Wall Street, and certainly one of the biggest deals of over the $50 billion market cap range, if not the biggest deal of stocks priced over $50 billion. Unless, like I said, unless you think yesterday was the best day for Coinbase, and it all goes downhill from here. And so you're either in one of those camps when it comes to this stock specifically. You're either in the camp that it's like, okay, this company's going to have much brighter days in the future, or it's as good as it got, okay? So this is absolutely a stock that's very interesting to me, the Coinbase, okay? And if you want to see something interesting, go to CathyWoodStocks.com, okay? And if we look at the top 25 ARK Invest holdings on CathyWoodStocks.com, what shall we see? We're going to see something here, okay? We're going to see that Coinbase is now in that ARK fund, right? The 16th biggest position. This company just went public, what was it, a week ago or so? I mean, the company hasn't even been public for a couple weeks now, and it's already their 16th biggest position. In this fund here, they have, $507 million in Coinbase, just in this fund alone. I mean, if you added up all their funds, I wouldn't be surprised if they're over $1 billion now. We'll see. But yeah, just in this one as well. And by the way, CathyWoodStocks.com, it does update on a daily basis. So, I don't know. Cathie Wood, she might know some things. Or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's wrong on Coinbase. Maybe she's crazy. I don't know. All I know is this company hasn't even been public a couple of weeks, and she's already built it into the 16th biggest position in this particular fund. So, yeah, she's pretty decent at what she does, right? Maybe she's going to miss it on Coinbase, or maybe she's building that as a position because it's going to make her an immense amount of money, right? We'll have to see. What she has said about Coinbase is that this company is going to remain extremely volatile based upon what happens with Bitcoin price specifically, in Ethereum as well, but Bitcoin and Ethereum, they kind of move together, right? So she basically believes Bitcoin price is going to shake up this stock. If Bitcoin price skyrockets, this stock's going to move up huge. If Bitcoin price crashes, this stock's going to just go down, another 40, 50%. So she said she expects extreme volatility in Coinbase. And hey, as a long-term investor in this company, that's all you can ask for, right? You want to actually, a downtrending stock so you can build that into a big position. I don't know what their ambition is as far as Coinbase goes. Maybe they want to build it into, a top 5 position. Maybe they want to put $1 billion in this and maybe have it be their 5th biggest position. We don't know. All we know is that they are buying every share they pretty much possibly can right now because, that's a lot of money to put in a brand new stock. And this is just one of their funds. Very important to keep in mind there with Coinbase. Now, where I think a lot of people misunderstand the stock. I think they misunderstand it maybe in a lot of different ways. But one way is a lot of folks have this perception or this belief, it's a false belief, that if Bitcoin downtrends in any way or there's volatility in the market, in the crypto market, which there's always volatility in the crypto market, by the way, that Coinbase is done and anything crypto brokerage is done. When that couldn't be further from the truth. The more volatility you have, the more trading that's going back and forth. That benefits the crypto brokerages like Coinbase, like Voyager, and some of these others. And we're going to talk about Voyager in just a moment here. But that can benefit them because a bunch more trading pressure. I've always saw it with Goldman Sachs, where there was this belief that if the market was doing bad at a particular time, Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan would do horrible. But a lot of times when it came to their, basically their investment products, which were usually more tailored toward higher net worth folks, right? They usually made a lot of money during those periods. In volatile periods, a lot of times they made a lot of money. So I'm not sure if this perception that if Bitcoin is shaking around from 40,000 to 60,000, 40,000, 60,000, I'm not so sure that's a bad thing actually for Coinbase. They might end up making a lot more money with all that trading activity in the market. Very important to understand that because they're getting fees every time that Bitcoin is traded back and forth at Ethereum and things like that, guys. So obviously the fees could potentially be bigger if Bitcoin's at 100,000 versus 53,000. But at the end of the day, all those transactions going back and forth, usually going to be a very, very good thing for Coinbase and this next stock, obviously here, Voyager. So Voyager is my personal biggest investment in the entire crypto space, okay? I'm invested in a few crypto coins. I'm invested in, obviously, Coinbase, a smaller position, right? I'm invested in another company we're going to get into in just a second, and then I'm invested in Voyager. This one's my biggest investment in this space. And why is it my biggest investment? Well, I feel like it has the most attractive risk reward. I do feel like it has risks. If the crypto market absolutely crashed through the floor, we're talking Bitcoin under 10,000 or something like that, it could potentially be very devastating for Voyager. Does it put Voyager out of business? I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd go that far, but would it be devastating to the stock? Probably. Could it be a stock under $5 if Bitcoin falls under $10,000? Potentially. Okay. So it comes with this risk. However, at the end of the day, Voyager has the potential to be a crypto brokerage, stock brokerage, debit card products, credit card products, so many different products out there. The gentleman who leads the company used to be VP over at E-Trade back in the day. So when I think about this, I'm like, man, there's a lot of dang upside potential. And you look at something like a Coinbase at, $60 billion or whatever valuation is going to be trading at, right? And that could potentially actually be really undervalued at $60 billion. Never mind a Voyager at a few $1 billion market cap. I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, that's darn attractive. And that's why this is my biggest investment. So far, it's doing okay for us. We're up $14,906 on it so far, up 9%. So we're doing okay so far. But at the end of the day, like, this is a stock that I feel like has the potential to, make us $500,000 or $750,000, maybe even more than that long term, if they really execute in outside of a major crypto crash. So because they're another one, they're growing probably even more exponentially than Coinbase. If you look at their numbers year over year, users, revenue, profitability, AUM, doesn't matter what you look at. It's unbelievable at Voyager, okay? So yeah, that one's interesting to me, as well as VGX is interesting to me as well. I have been buying some VGX. So Voyager, that's that one, okay? Now, I got a question on the live stream today. People were wondering, do I still own this stock? And yeah, I still own MicroStrategy, MSTR. It's not like a big position for me. It's doing pretty dang good for us so far. We put 50K in this one, and it's already, we're up 38,800 or 38,600 bucks right now, up 76%. So it's off to a good start. This one I like owning for Bitcoin exposure. I don't personally own any direct Bitcoin. I own some other cryptos, but I don't own directly any Bitcoin. But I own obviously Tesla that has a Bitcoin position, but this one, they own more Bitcoin than pretty much any public company out there. And at the end of the day, if Bitcoin goes up a lot over the long term, guess where the stock price is going to go up over the long term, okay? If at the same time, if Bitcoin falls to, 10,000, 20,000, guess what? This stock's going to be hurt real bad. That's why I only put 50,000 in it, but I have some exposure in the crypto space, so I'm kind of like built out this way of investing in it outside of just directly buying crypto coins. I'm kind of buying the picks and shovels of crypto as well, and a few of the actual, things there, but the bigger investments I'm making are actually in things where, they do other things other than just, they're not just a coin. Let's just put it that way, right? So yeah, I still own that one as well. Okay. Now, if you want my opinion on some options I might potentially buy out there, check out a video I put out on this channel 4 days ago. That's 4 stocks I may load up options on. Pretty interesting video there. So much love as always, guys. Thanks so much for joining me and spending a little bit of time with me here today. If you want to join us in Stock Hub, it's absolutely free to do so. That will be pinned comment. If you want to try to join my private stock group, that will be probably second pinned comment down there, guys. Much love and peace.